We are here. It's U.S. Open preview week. Of course, we got to have him back. It's a major. He was there last year down at Pinehurst. Welcome back, Mr. Bud Copeland. How you been?
Phenomenal. This is the best week of the year. For me, golf peaks this week. I think we get a couple good months of some prep time in January, February, March. Obviously, we got what we got at Augusta. The PGA did kind of deliver this year, I guess you could say, especially with Scotty winning. And now we're coming home. Last year when I was in Pinehurst, I said this place was built to host a U.S. Open. And when I say that, I mean like the whole community, the whole town. But Oakmont is the U.S. Open. This is number 10. I didn't really have too much of an appreciation for it until maybe like I don't know until I saw DJ and one of the players at that point were talking about damn like he got his at Oakmont, and then you look back Hogan, Nicklaus, Johnny Miller with that round, and then the evolution of obviously we'll get into this later the church pews. It's a special place in golf. It's a special week, and I think that this is the premier week for championship golf. No disrespect to the Open Championship, I think that is probably the most celebrated week of golf. But I think this is where we find out who truly is kind of the. I'm not going to say the champion golfer of the year. That would be rude and disrespectful. But just plainly, who is the best in the world at the moment? This is kind of that tournament where you have the rankings all year. You know, the coaches poll, the writers poll. You have that, and then we go to the BCS playoffs or whatever the fuck we're calling it now with college football. That's what this is. We're going to crown our champ, and I could not be more excited.
Yeah,
thanks.
I think it's obviously like the whole media day, getting all the creators there was really cool. I think that was so brilliant because we were talking before we started recording just about YouTube golf, but seeing how like the good guys played it, and you know the Bryan Bros, but then also the Bob Does Sports and all of that, like seeing some of those great I mean, I just watched a good one yesterday, and seeing those great golfers like Dalkey and Sean Walsh Sean Walsh was close to qualifying to it, you know, and seeing how they struggled out of the rough as like the top tier of those good YouTube golfers. Like it's going to be insanely difficult. I think much more difficult than last year. But it's going to be exciting for sure.
And that's saying something. Pinehurst number 2 is no slouch. And you're right. This year, I think Oakmont, to use a cliche, said, hold my beer. And to watch the guys prep for it, to talk about Justin Thomas in his presser the other day, saying like it's a mind fuck, man. I have to remind myself that I don't. He's like, I don't have to listen to anything outside of here. I know how hard it is. Right. And so you can almost hear him like being one of us, being like, dude, you don't have to tell me that this is for skins. Like I understand the pressure I'm on. Like they get it, and to have the accessibility through those creators, I think is a step in what we said, like we were saying off air, is like the future direction, some more of the content and how we can connect with the game. Because all it does then is elevate. When you see Ben Griffin saying in some of his pre-tournament interviews, I'd sign +4 right now. You told me +4? Yeah. Done. He's like, give me that all day.
Right.
And to know that they're in that place, I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a kind of, the way that's going to play out is just like, don't even leaderboard watch, just eliminate the big numbers. Like you don't even need to make par on some of these holes, you know, like you boat, because normally it's a par 71 that's playing a par 70. Like there's that 5 that's playing a 4, but it's like, man, take a 5 on that hole. That 5 in the hole is phenomenal.
Yeah.
There's going to be the big, one of the big stories of the week is going to be the rough, right? And, and it seems like I've heard rumors of 5-6 inches.
Yeah.
So they just had, God, I've seen 2 clips already. So Grant Horvat, he played there with the Bryan Bros. And they had a clip with that. He measured it, I think, with his club, and it was like probably 4.5, 5 inches. And then they had guys that were like mowing, just going like in circles, like with the lawnmowers, and it still was like thick. It reminded me a lot of Oak Hill, like when we went and how thick that rough was. It's very, very similar to that this week.
I love that you said that, because one of the things I was watching, first of all, I got to find him. I think it might be his handle might be like PGA historian, but there's a guy out there whose actual job is, and I got connected with him through our boy Nate at Acorn Hills. He's going to be boots on the ground this week, but he's like the official PGA historian, or he's the official historian of Oakmont Country Club. Like that's his job. He's written books, super interesting guy. And through some of the clips that he was sharing, as well as some of the stuff the USGA was doing, is they were explaining about the mowing of the greens, because every week or every US Open, we want to see these guys struggle, and when the mowers come out, they start chirping like, "Oh, let it grow, let it grow." And they were saying the reason they do that, they were going in circles, but it wasn't getting any shorter. No, because they're just taking the itty bitty tip tops off. Because apparently, if you don't do that, then all of a sudden it starts to fold over, and the ball sits on top of the rough. Us hackers out there, especially once you're later in the day, most of your courses in those landing areas, you're fine in the rough. You're going to catch a flyer. You have to learn how to adjust to that type of shot, but you're fine. And so they nip the tip right there. And it stands straight up, so the ball just drops to the bottom.
Yeah. I mean, not just the rough, but it's also, I saw it today, it's rolling at a 16 on the stimp meter.
Shut the front door.
Jesus.
Which is 10 is the average, and the average week on the Pro Tour is a 13. So to be rolling at a 16, like...
I saw somebody else make a good point that these courses were designed, and honestly, the guy who created the stimp meter, Henry Stimp Meter, I don't know if his first name's Henry, but his last name begins with Stimp. He was at a 1930-something U.S. Open at Oakmont, watched those greens and was like, how fast are we going here? And that's what inspired him to go home. He's from Massachusetts, New England guy. He went home and invented the stimp meter because of Oakmont. And you think about how fast they're running now, and they were not running this fast back then. You can look these numbers up. They're out there. You can see Augusta National running at 9 back in the 70s or whatever it was. And even back then, because again, technology, everything. So these undulations have not changed. They were just designed for slower moving balls. And now we have these guys coming in with the technology. And to say we're going to put it up there 14, 15, 16, I think I saw, and I don't know if it was fake or not, nowadays with the social medias and the YouTubes, these kids, but somebody was posting that Xander was quoted as saying, this is what they want. This is what the people want. They want to see us come out here and struggle at +6, +8. He goes, what do you expect? And I don't think he was saying it in a bitching tone like we've seen in the past where Phil Mickelson, kicks his ball while it's moving and walks off, or, John Daly might be throwing clubs. I think he's genuinely, that's what they have to do, is remind themselves, you're going to get punched in the mouth. You're going to make a triple. You're going to make, Walter Hagen used to say, I budget 7 shots a round for bad shots. That way, when I do it, I go, that's one of my 7. And I think that's going to be their mentality is that +4, sign me up right now.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I kind of had on my list. Do you think it's the finishing score that wins is over par or under par this week?
Over par. Hammered that.
Yeah.
I say that. Watch, we're gonna have one of those 2000 at Pebble, Tigers 12 under, and then second place is +3. Scotty just heard that somehow, and
I was gonna say Scotty's pulling his best MJ. I took that personal.
God, I don't know if he's human, man. To hear him to answer a question the other day about, what I do I'm almost slipping into a Dustin Johnson when I do Scotty, which is disrespectful to Scotty. They are grossly different human beings. Both married well, but Scotty just said, what I do on 11T cannot change what happened on 10 green. And when they say it, we always go, oh, it must be easy, must be nice. No, it is that simple.
100%.
Gary, it's simple to dadding so hard. Like you were saying, I've been parenting or dadding so hard all day. There is no other option. You have to just move on. Like you can't change. I got to get up right now and change this diaper. It just has to happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish it was that easy.
And you mentioned last time that was there, DJ won it. He was 4 under that year, but then second place was just 1 under. And then going back, I went back to the previous one. Angel Cabrera won it 5 over in 2007. Second place was Jim Furyk and Tiger at 6 over. Wow. And that's 07 Tiger is, he's,
you can say peak. Primo.
Yeah. He was at the best, if not right around there. And for him to shoot 6 over, regardless of where the win was, but
I heard a crazy stat on the Dan Patrick show this morning, or Monday morning, wink wink, that Tiger Woods won 97. He won in 97 at Augusta.
Mm-hmm.
In 1998, Jack Nicklaus finished ahead of him at the Masters. The year where he was defending, he finished a stroke behind Jack, who was 58 at the time or whatever.
Yeah.
It just blew my mind. But back to the Turtle in 2007, that was right when they finally tore all the trees down, took it back to its roots, because Oakmont went through this ebb and flow of being a pure links style course. I think it was par 80 when it opened. There's a par 6 in there. There's like 8 par 5s. I mean, it's always been intended to be this long. The guy who designed it, it's like Fownes is his last name, Fownes or something like that. All I know about him is he retired and then had all this money and was like, I want to build a golf course, which if I had a nickel for every time. And he did one. He did this, Oakmont. That's it. I've been searching and I can't believe it. But it genuinely, like, what would be the music equivalent? Like, who's a one and doneer out there? Not a one hit wonder. That's a whole different thing. Is there genuinely somebody
to like
who just
do a song and then just stop?
That was iconic. I'm not talking about like
Gautier, somebody that I used to know.
That whole album. Fuck, that whole album slaps.
But he hit that one, then he was gone.
He did. What is he doing? Probably just whatever he wants with all.
Probably
of his
doing
money.
Social media golf. It's like everyone.
Probably doing social media golf. Look at
guys,
you,
I have a confession
look at you
to
producing. He's like, hey guys, this is a golf show. I know I was about to go top 10 people not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Thanks for watching today's episode.
To see more of our content, be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe on YouTube. We can be found at Basic Bogeys on all platforms.
Thanks. We hope to see you on the next one.